everybody, welcome back to Jimmy's Promo, and today we are at Samsung Galaxy Unpacked for the unveiling of the brand new Samsung Galaxy S24 series. So in today's video, I will show you some of the brand new features that you're able to do on the Galaxy S24 devices, especially with the brand new Galaxy AI, and also we'll take a look at all of the colors, all of the specs, all of the prices, and so much more. So hopefully you guys appreciate this video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, as once I get back at home in the studio, we will have more in-depth detailed videos surrounding the Galaxy S24, the S24 Plus, and the S24 Ultra. And make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video where I give you my first impressions of the Galaxy S24 series. Now, to give you a couple examples of what you can do right now inside of your Samsung gallery is, let's say that you look at a photo and there's a quick little edit that you want to do. You tap on the details, and through here you have a bunch of different options. So let's say that you wanted to erase the shadow. So this is where you can erase the shadow with one tap, and then you're able to save it and you can have a much better photo. Now let's say maybe there is reflections. So here is some glass right next to this woman, and if you wanted to get rid of that glass, you tap on the details of the photo, you tap on erase reflections, and then it's going to take away the reflection, and again, a much better photo for you that you can hit on save. Now, to give you the example of what you can do with generative AI, instead of going into the quick little details of the photo to do a fast edit, if you hit on the little editing tool and then you tap on those little 3 stars or 3 diamonds in the corner, this is now generative AI. So through here, you can now completely alter the image. You can actually make them go higher. Also, what you can do is, let's say that you wanted to change the terrain or change the background of what you see. And so if you want to make this maybe look a little bit better and you want AI to kind of fill this in, you can just delete this, and then now it's going to generate a brand new background, or at least generate something new for the bottom, maybe making this photo so much better. So let's just see what this does. And this one does take a little bit to actually generate and save, just because it is going through cloud-based to fill everything in. And this is now our new photo. Now, going along with generative AI, more that you can do is, let's say that you look at something on your screen. It could be in your gallery, the camera, the website, YouTube, wherever you may be, and you're looking at a celebrity, you don't know what clothes they're wearing, maybe you're looking at food, you don't know what that is. If you press and hold on the home button, it actually overlays Google on top. You can circle what you're trying to basically find. So instead of you having to take a snapshot of this, you have another screenshot, now you have to go inside Google Lens, everything is all built in. It tells you exactly what it is. And also too, when you scroll on down, there is more things that you're able to do. So you can ask it more questions, you can do follow-up questions. You can, if it was maybe like a beef Wellington, you'll be able to find locations of where you can get this, such as some restaurants. But yeah, there's so many good features built in inside of pretty much anything Samsung native applications with Google AI built inside. Now, some more generative AI, let's say that we go inside of Samsung Notes. So let's say you created some notes, you want to get this thing ready for maybe a presentation. Now, on the very bottom, you have those 3 diamonds or 3 stars again. This is where you can either auto format it. You can put it in where there is meeting notes, maybe headers and bullets. So if you want it to be, let's say, headers and bullets, and again, you want this thing to look more professional, now you have all these different options of what you can choose, that you can now basically save it, you can replace it. So if one of these looks a little bit better, this is now what you're able to send off in a meeting. And now moving on to the specs of all 3 devices, going all the way down to the nitty gritty. We'll start off with the Galaxy S24 Ultra first, moving our way down. But at the end of this, I will do a comparison of all of these subtle differences between all 3 devices. Now, first up will be the Galaxy S24 Ultra. It sports the 6.8-inch Quad HD Plus Dynamic AMOLED 2X display with that super smooth, dynamic 120 Hz refresh rate, which means it's able to go all the way down to 1 up to 120, whatever is needed at the time, and also with a super bright brightness of up to 2600 nits. And then moving on to the camera, we have the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with the field of view of 120 degrees. We have the Hero camera that is only on the Ultra with 200 megapixel wide camera with a field of view of 85 degrees. We also have the 50 megapixel telephoto camera with the 5x optical zoom with a field of view of 22 degrees. We have the 10 megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom with a field of view of 36 degrees. And then the front camera at 12 megapixel, and it is a wide front camera with a field of view of 80 degrees. And for the processor, it has the brand new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for the mobile platform. And for the recording, you're able to go at 8K at 24 or 30 frames per second. You can do 4K at 30 or 60 frames per second. And then for 1080p, you can record at 30, 60, 120, 240, or 960 frames per second. And moving on to the memory and storage, all of these storage options will have the same size memory. So you will have 12 gigabytes of RAM if you were to get the 256 gig, the 512 gig, or the 1 terabyte. Now, when it comes down to the battery and the charging, the S24 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. If you charge it wired, it's able to go at 45 watts. Wireless is 15 watts, and the reversed wireless power share is 4.5 watts. And lastly, it will be launched with Android 14 with Samsung One UI 6.1, and it still has an IP rating of IP68. And now on to the Galaxy S24 Plus and the Galaxy S24. Now, the S24 Plus has a 6.7-inch Quad HD Plus display, while the S24 has a 6.2-inch Full HD Plus display. Now, they both still have that dynamic AMOLED 2X display with a super smooth 120 Hz refresh rate that is dynamic from 1 up to 120 Hz, and they both have that super bright brightness of up to 2600 nits. And onto the cameras, they both have the exact same setup, so they're both having that 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with a field of view of 120 degrees. They both have the 50 megapixel wide camera with a field of view of 85 degrees. They both have the 10 megapixel telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom with a field of view of 36 degrees. And then for the front-facing camera, they have that 12 megapixel field of view of 80 degrees. They both also come with that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 mobile platform processor. And then when it comes down into the memory and storage and the battery and the charging, this is where they kind of differ as well. So for the memory and storage for the S24 Plus, you still have 12 gigs of RAM for either the 256 gig or the 512. But when it comes down to the S24, you'll have 8 gig of RAM for both of them, the 128 gig and 256. And now onto the battery and the charging. The Galaxy S24 Plus will have a slightly larger battery as well as faster charging if you were to charge it wired. So the S24 Plus will be a 4,900 milliamp hour battery versus the S24 being at 4,000. And then when it comes down to wired charging, the S24 Plus is able to charge at 45 watts, while the S24 is 25 watts. And across the board with all devices, when it comes down to wireless, they're all at 15 watts. And still that reversed wireless power share is still at 4.5. And then lastly, still with these two devices, because it is the Galaxy S24 lineup, they will be launched with the Android 14 with Samsung One UI 6.1, and they're both at IP rated IP68. And now on to the very small, subtle differences of all three devices. So first off, the Galaxy S24 Ultra is the only one that offers you their hero camera, which is that 200 megapixel wide camera. It's also the only version that offers you 1 terabyte of the internal storage, and it has that larger battery of 5,000. Now, when it comes down to the S24 and the S24 Plus, the S24 is the only one that has that Full HD Plus display. So it's the one that doesn't have Quad HD Plus. It's also the Galaxy S24 is the only one that offers 8 gigs of RAM. So the Plus and the Ultra offers you 12 gigs of RAM, while the S24 is only 8. And it also has the slowest charging speed with that 25 watts. While the Plus and the Ultra is able to charge at 45 watts. So that's really all of these small subtle differences between the three devices, other than the obvious battery size and screen size. Now the Galaxy S24 series starts at $799.99 with the colors of Cobalt Violet, Amber Yellow, Marble Gray, and Onyx Black. Now for the Galaxy S24 Plus, the price starts at $999.99 with the colors of Cobalt Violet, Amber Yellow, Marble Gray, and Onyx Black. And for the Galaxy S24 Ultra, the price starts at $1,299.99 with the colors of Titanium Black, Titanium Yellow, Titanium Violet, and Titanium Gray. So that is a wrap. My first impression of the Galaxy S24 series is that I'm super excited that we went back to a flat display, moved away from the infinity display. We also have that hero camera, especially on the Galaxy S24 Ultra, that has that 200 megapixel lens. And again, the generative AI is built into a lot of the Samsung native applications, the gallery, the camera, the notes. So I am super thrilled about this device, along also with if you were to do the double storage on Samsung. So this is the first time ever that if you go for that 512 of internal storage, you're able to receive the 1 terabyte.